SHELLA and FARHANA may present
Livestock housing.
Topic outline.
A. Introduction to animal behavior. B. Animal environmental requirements. C. Livestock housing.
First, let's understand the behavior of animals.
Introduction.
Livestock housing convert animal feed into useful products like milk and meat. Simple methods with local breeds need little housing. Better breeds and feed increase production but require specialized buildings to control temperature, waste, and manage diseases. The type of housing depends on the animal. Sheep are fine with basic shelters, while piglets might need expensive temperature-controlled rooms to be profitable. Research experiment is usually conducted on livestock housing mostly in cold climates, and using it directly in hot climates can harm animals and required very high building and operating cost. Animal behavior. A basic understanding of domestic animal behavior and the relationship between human beings and farm animals can contribute greatly to increased economic benefit in animal husbandry and to easier handling of the animals. Behavior patterns farm. Animals are born with certain fixed behavior patterns, such as pecking in chickens and nursing in mammals, but most behavior patterns develop through play and social contact with other animals of their kind and under the influence of environmental stimulation and genetic factors. Social rank order. Domestic animals are highly sociable and naturally form groups. Males and females form separate groups, except during the breeding season, and the young tend to form small groups in the proximity of the female group. When strange adult animals meet for the first time, they are likely to fight to establish dominant-subordinate relationships. On the other hand, animal behavior and building design. Animal behavior can influence the design of structures. Experiments intended to improve the design of animal housing, its furnishing and equipment. The following are the behaviors of some animals.
Cattle.
It is normally live in herds, but, when giving birth, cows attempt to find a quiet, sheltered place away from the disturbance of other cows and humans. The cow needs to be alone with her calf for some time after birth for the cow-calf bond to be established.
Chicken.
Hens spend considerable time in the selection of a nest, which is on the ground. Nesting is characterized by secrecy and careful concealment. Hens in deep litter systems, therefore, sometimes lay eggs on the floor instead of in the nest boxes, especially if the litter is quite deep or there are dark corners in the pen.
Pigs.
Cows are nest builders and should be transferred to clean farrowing pens 1 to 2 weeks before giving birth, and given some bedding with which they can build a nest. Estrus, especially in gilts, is increased by the smell, sight, and physical presence of a boar.
Sheep.
Sheep are vigilant and tight-flocking and respond to disturbances by fleeing. When designing handling facilities, these characteristics should be taken into account. A race should be straight, level, fairly wide, have no blind ends, and preferably have close-boarded sides.
Let's understand the environmental requirements of animals. Heat regulation.
Here's what you need to know. All domestic livestock are homeotherms. That is to say, they maintain a relatively constant internal body temperature, usually within a 1 to 2 degrees Celsius range. The normal body temperatures of some domestic animals and humans are as follows. Animal moisture and heat production. Heat is produced centrally in the deep body. The surplus is conducted to the skin surface where it is transferred to the atmosphere as sensible heat by means of convection, conduction, and radiation, and as latent heat through the evaporation of moisture from the lungs and skin. Climatic factors. In tropical and subtropical countries, an animal may often be under heat stress. When the environmental temperature exceeds the upper critical level, 18 degrees Celsius to 24 degrees Celsius, depending on the species, there is usually a drop in production or a reduced rate of gain. Effect of climatic factors on livestock performance.
Cattle.
Dairy cattle show a reduced feed intake under heat stress, resulting in lower milk production and reduced growth. Reproduction is also adversely affected. Beef cattle make their best weight gains at temperatures below 25 degrees C. They can easily tolerate temperatures below 0 degrees C if they have a good supply of feed.
Pigs.
Pigs require a change in ambient temperature as they age and grow, and, like cattle, they show a decreased feed intake when under heat stress. Piglets survive and develop best at 30–32 degrees Cs initially, followed by a gradual reduction to 20 degrees Cs over the first 3 weeks.
Sows.
Brood. Sows do well at 15 degrees Cs, but suffer badly at 25 degrees Cs and above because they do not perspire when hot. Reproduction rates fall under heat stress, and sows are more apt to trample their baby pigs during the discomfort of hot weather.
Sheep.
Sheep can tolerate a wide range of temperatures but should be protected from wind and rain. However, a long period of high ambient temperatures inhibits reproduction. Heat stress also reduces the lambing percentage, decreases the incidence of twinning, and decreases the birth weight of lambs.
Goats.
Goats are affected by temperature, humidity, and rain. In hot, goats need shelter from intense heat during the day. In humid areas, they need protection from prolonged heavy rain. Excessive wetting from rain can cause pneumonia and an increase in parasitic infestation.
Poultry.
Poultry environmental requirements vary with age. Chicks should be started at 35 OC. As from 1 week, the temperature is reduced gradually to 24 degrees Celsius by the 5th week. Broilers and young turkeys reared at ambient temperatures below 18 degrees Celsius are heavier than similar stock reared within the 18 to 35 degrees Celsius range, but their feed conversion efficiency will be lower.
Rabbits.
Rabbits are affected the most by sun and heat, wind, rain, and drafts. Sunlight is of benefit to breeding stock and to the growing young, but it will also fade the coat of colored rabbits and discolor a white one. While rabbits enjoy the sun, but they must be given the opportunity to keep out of the direct rays.
Lastly, horse.
Horses. Horses do not require warm surroundings, but they do not easily tolerate drafts, dampness, and high humidity. When exposed to high temperatures and vigorous exercise, horses sweat, and the evaporation of this perspiration cools the skin and helps to maintain normal body temperature. Remember, good husbandry includes regular observation of the animals to detect any change in behavior that could indicate disease. Sick animals should be separated from the herd immediately to prevent further spread of infectious disease and to allow them to rest. The sick animals should be isolated in a pen kept especially for this purpose, which should ideally be in a separate building.
We'll explore livestock housing, which is crucial for happy and healthy animals.
Herd profiles. The composition and management of cattle herds varies considerably. At one extreme, nomadic herdsmen graze their entire herd as one unit. Smallholders with only a few head may keep their heifer calves for replacements or sell them. Commercial dairy producers typically have about 4/5 of their cows milking and 1/5 waiting to calve, while heifers of 10 months to calving age, plus calves of various ages, will approximately equal the number of milkers. General housing requirements. Shade from the sun. With these needs in mind, a shade structure allowing 2.5 to 3 square meters per animal will give the minimum desirable protection for cattle, whether for one animal belonging to a smallholder or many animals in a commercial herd. A 3-meter by 7-meter roof will provide adequate shade for up to 8 cows. The roof should be a minimum of 3 meters high to allow air circulation. Yards. If space is severely limited and only 4 to 5 square meters per cow is available, then concrete paving is highly desirable. If 40–60 square meters per cow is available, then unpaved yards should be quite satisfactory, provided that the feed and shade areas are paved and the yard is graded for good drainage. Deep bedded sheds. In a deep-bedded system, straw, sawdust, shavings or other bedding material is periodically placed in the resting area so that a mixture of bedding and manure builds up in a thick layer. Although this increases the bulk of manure, it may be easier to handle than wet manure alone. This system is most practical when bedding is plentiful and cheap.
In summary, considering animal behavior and environmental needs in housing design ensures welfare, health, productivity, and reduces stress for optimal animal care.
Thank you for listening.
Don't hesitate to ask any questions.